Karine Jean-Pierre. We have not talked about her that much, mercifully, as she has to a large extent vanished since she stepped down as White House chief spokesperson, as the White House press secretary. But she is doing interviews now for her own book. She now says that she is no longer a Democrat. She says that she is an independent. And in a availability, so promoting this book, she said several interesting things that I want to play for you, because while she is now no longer White House press secretary, she remains a professional liar. And she first was asked, hey, did Joe Biden have the ability to serve as president until 2028? She says, I don't know, basically. Cut one.
Now, God love him. We send him our best, but he, has cancer. Like, the notion that this person was up for being president to 2028, was up for the communications responsibility of this job and fighting. No, well, if he won again, he would have to have been president all the way till 2028. I think that's an absurd thing to suggest, that he could have been president. Do you think he could have been president in 2028?
I can't speak to that.
I can't speak to it. I mean, I think it's pretty I'm not sure, sadly, that Joe Biden is even going to be alive in 2028, Buck. I mean, as this cancer treatments and radiation, everything else he's going through, I hope he is. But I'm not even sure he's going to be alive in 2028, much less could he be president of the United States until then. I don't think clearly he was capable of being president of the United States until 2025. We dodged a bullet that there wasn't some bigger issue at stake. And I think actually this ties in with your Mamdani take, Buck, which is a lot of these jobs do themselves. And so whether or not there is extreme competence at the top, the train keeps on moving no matter who's in charge, and I think that's kind of the legacy of Biden 2020 to 2024.
You want to talk about no kings. It's been a long-standing historical reality. If you go back into history, you'll see there are plenty of times where in monarchies, somebody ascended to the throne who was 8 or 12 or whatever, and usually there's a regency period that they set up. Well, this was something like that under the Biden administration, except it was the very end of his days or his years, rather, and not at the beginning of it. But he really wasn't running things in a meaningful sense. The advisory team around him was clearly running the country, and there's something deeply dishonest about that the American people have now come to grips with. I mean, even Democrats have had to go, oh, yeah, that's what we were doing. And this is why I think there's going to be a huge push among Democrats for an entirely fresh start with whatever the next team is going to be. I don't think that Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be welcome in the next White House administration. I don't think that any of the top Biden advisors are going to be. I think this is a moment. It's a bit like the way the Bush team and the Bush era really was cleared out from the Republican Party during the Obama years. And beyond, and obviously the Trump years. So I think you're going to see something like that with the Biden folks, because her answer here, I always go back and forth. I actually think it's worse to suggest that you were because we could tell from watching him on TV. So if you're around him physically a lot more than you and I are, you're going to tell me that you were that lacking in perception, really that stupid that you couldn't tell this was going on? That's worse, but it's also a lie. So you're lying about your lie when you say that Biden maybe could have done it or I couldn't tell or whatever. You're lying again. You're not even coming clean now.
And she's continuing to lie. I wanted to play this because she said when told Trump speaks way more to the media. And again, Trump has been speaking for basically the whole first hour that we have been on the air right now in the Rose Garden. Here is Karine Jean-Pierre saying, that's not true. You just didn't pay attention to how often Biden was speaking. Cut 3.
He talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less. And he wasn't out there at all. He wasn't good off the cuff. He wasn't doing press conferences. Let's just be real. Like, he didn't do paid events.
Tim, that's not true. Tim, you're conflating all of it. That's what you're doing. No, you're telling me he didn't talk well about it. Then you're telling me he didn't talk at all.
He didn't do either. He didn't talk very often. And when he did, it wasn't very good. He sounded very old.
Maybe you weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House. But
I paid attention. I'm with you on the policies. I'm talking about his performance.
The president spoke to the American people a couple times a week. He traveled and did domestic travel and talked directly to the American people.
This is, next level lies.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Interesting, isn't it? They're putting out these Biden administration memoirs, and I think these are efforts to rehabilitate the individual image of people like Kamala and Karine Jean-Pierre. I also think some Biden White House folks, Clay, are seeing this and realizing, I don't think I'm going to write a book. Look, we're living in a time when lies are easy. We're just talking about the lies Democrats tell, and truth is costly. And nowhere is this more devastating than the battle for life. And that's exactly what Natalia faced. Her first reaction to pregnancy was, I've got to get an abortion, because that's the lie she was told. But once she heard the heartbeat of her child, she knew that God wanted her to have her baby and that all things would be possible through him. Natalia chose life and was provided with love, support, and resources throughout her pregnancy at preborn clinics. This happens at preborn clinics on average 200 times a day because of support from people just like you, the pro-life community. Moms who are overwhelmed and getting pressure, well, when they go into a preborn clinic, they suddenly see their child, hear the truth, hear that heartbeat, and they realize they're not alone. Friend, that moment of truth costs just $28 to sponsor an ultrasound. An ultrasound doubles a baby's chance at life. So now is not the time for silence. It's time for courage, a time for truth. Give now, please, if you can. Dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, say baby, or visit preborn.com/buck. Preborn.com/BUCK. Sponsored by Preborn.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And be sure to hit that like button.